Hi there, Seneca Waugh here with your Clear Next Step. And you may have been wondering about the Changemakers program and whether that's right for you or someone on your team. And who really is the right participant for Changemakers? Now, I'm a fervent believer in the fact that Changemakers can help anyone. And our participants so far have told us that Changemakers, after the very first session, our participants are finding that they're having better relationships with their leaders, with their peers, and with their direct reports or their informal teams. And by the second session, they are wasting less time in meetings and in their organizational efforts. So the program is paying for itself by the second session. So I believe it can help anyone. But as we think about who is the target right person, are you the right person for Changemakers and for this program? It's a 10-month program. It's an investment. It goes on for a long time. Are you the right person or is your team member the right person? So let's talk about who the right person really is. In a nutshell, Changemakers are those people who can make change stick in their organization. So who is that? Well, a change maker is not necessarily someone who naturally does that on their own. And change makers can be trained, change makers can be taught, change makers can be raised up in the organization. And so the right audience member, the right participant for this program is someone you're ready to raise up, someone you're ready to elevate, someone you're ready to grow to the next step. And one way you know that you're ready to grow them to the next step is that perhaps they've hit the level that they're going to get right now. Now, they've been working for a while. You've been working for a while. You're probably not brand new to your organization. They are not brand new to their organization. They've been doing this for a bit, 5, 8 years, maybe more. And chances are they're going to fit in one of two buckets. Chances are decent that they are probably really, really good at one of two things. So the first thing they might be really good at is project management or process improvement or business analysis or data or one of those disciplines where they are an individual contributor. They have grown up in the discipline where they are an individual contributor and they've gone to the training, they've gotten their certification, they are disciplined in this discipline and they know it super well and they put the good of the business first. They return business value and they speak business value fluently. And they are super versed in this space and they have risen to the top. But you know what? Because they are individual contributors, chances are decent that they don't have direct reports. And so they have been, in some ways, excluded from some of the leadership development that organizations offer. So, one person that might be really good for change makers is someone who has reached as high as they're going to go right now in that domain. So these are your senior business analysts, your senior project managers, your heads of process improvement, or your people who are growing in that process improvement discipline, for example. Now, let me jump over to the other side. Another person who might be a really great candidate for change makers is someone who is a people leader. And they are a great people leader. They lead people and people follow them. They love people and people love them. They've gone to all of the training that your organization offers, or you've gone to all the training that your organization offers in people leadership because you've got that little box next to your name that says you have direct reports. And you're one of those leaders that people follow, or they're one of those leaders that people follow to create that void and people just step right into it because they love people and people love them. They lead with their whole heart. And sometimes those people leaders are not also versed in those other disciplines like business analysis and project management and process improvement. Because while they've been growing their influence and their emotional intelligence and their leadership skills and their people leadership skills, they have not also been growing their business value skills, their project management, process improvement, skills around the discipline of returning business value. So what happens is they have reached as high as they're going to go in the business. And the individual contributors have reached as high as they're going to go, and the people leaders have reached as high as they're going to go. So you've got these two people who are great candidates for change makers because they've each reached as high as they're going to go in the organization. But you want to elevate them. And maybe you're the candidate you're thinking of, and you want to elevate yourself. You want to be elevated. You want to go to the next level. Well, here's what you do. You sign up for Changemakers, or you sign them up for Changemakers, because what happens in Changemakers is you come to this program with a cohort, and the cohort is a group of 10 people. 10 people come together in this cohort, and chances are great that some of them know this discipline of returning business value, and some of them know this discipline of people leadership. And together, you elevate each other. You look at each other and say, hey, I'm good at this, but I'm not so great at that. And someone else says, hey, I'm good at that, but I'm not so great at this. And you complement each other, and you balance each other out, and you learn from one another, and you create this phenomenal sense of community. And the way the curriculum is designed, each course builds one on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other, so that at the end of this curriculum, you've had 8 courses with these 10 people, and you've leaned on one another, and you've learned from one another, and you've built community with one another. And if you've done this with a buddy from your place of work, you've been able to lean on one another from back home too, and bring these skills back home. And layered on top of all of these disciplines, you have returning business value, putting the good of the organization first, returning business value. You have authentic human connection, emotional intelligence, and connecting with other humans. You have these 2 disciplines, and you have layered on top of all of that the truth that change is a process and not an event. And we've demonstrated that throughout the program. You see it, you touch it, you feel it, you experience it throughout the program. You experience it throughout coaching. You experiencing throughout the transition and transformation of organizational transformation. And we teach you those skills so that by the end, you understand these 3 skills that change makers need. In order to be a change maker, in order to make change stick in an organizational context, you have to do 3 things all day, every day. You have to put the good of the organization first. You have to make authentic human connection, and you have to treat change as a process, not an event. And change makers will help you do that because you elevate one another side by side over that duration in a cohort together. Did that help? Can't wait to see you there.